Hey everyone, welcome back to Lit with Lex. So, today we're going to be doing a March reading recap, okay? So March for me was so busy. I maybe had 2 days off. I had 2 days off the whole entire month. So, to tell you, I was busy. I was so busy. I felt like a chicken with my head cut off. And even when I got home at night, I was like, I can't even read. I feel so dead. So, hopefully, April isn't like that. First book I read was called What Lies Between Us by John Mars. It was insane. The probably one of the most crazy thrillers I've ever read, but I'm sensing a trend with John Mars. It is always going to be insane. That's it. You will never know the ending. So it follows a mom and daughter, so Maggie and Nina, and you get both of their POVs, which I love. So I don't want to go too in depth about it, but Nina had a crazy childhood, and there's a lot of stuff that she doesn't know about her childhood that happened. And the mom just kind of made it like, I wanted to protect you. I wanted to protect you, so that's why I didn't tell you these things. So, anyway, the ending is really, really sad. And I read it like this, jaw on the ground, because I was not expecting that ending. So I would definitely say you should read it. I think I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was very good. The next book I'm going to go over is First Time Caller. It's right here. Boop. This, so I am not a rom com girly. I'm not a romance girly at all, actually. It's very hard for me to enjoy just a good old romance because I feel like it's fake and it'll never happen in my real life. Oh, did I say that? Oh, so anyway, it was amazing. It was so cute. So the daughter actually calls in for her mom. So she's a single mom. Her daughter calls into this radio show hosted by Aiden Valentine, and they are going to go on a search for her to find her love, the love of her life. They're going to go on a search. The radio show makes her own segment just on finding Tegan the love of her life. And so she's going on dates, she's doing all this stuff. Like, she gets stood up. People are so mean to her. Like, there's a lot of reality in it. And, like, the way guys treat her on dates is terrible. And anyway, it ends up being the cutest little ending. I don't want to spoil it. And it just, like, it's exactly how you want the book to end. It is so heartfelt, and it just, like, makes you believe in love. And I think that's what I needed. So thank you, BK Borison. I may now be a romance girly. Who knows? The next book I'm going to go over is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. And this book was wild. So it follows a couple who can't have children. So they're trying to adopt, and adopting's hard. And the woman, she really wants to have a child, like, of her own and have a baby and everything. And, like, adopting is very hard, very expensive. They already tried IVF multiple times, all this stuff. So then and they both work at the hospital. And when a child ends up coming to the hospital needing of help, and everyone thinks she's just the cutest little child. She obviously has her own problems, just like every child, especially going through that traumatic of a situation that she did. And so they end up adopting her, which seems like a great idea at first. It goes straight downhill. All I have to say is that the mom ends up pregnant by on her own. It's like a miracle baby. It's amazing. And she the daughter really doesn't like it, that the attention is going elsewhere. They're doing therapy. They're doing everything that they can do to help this child. This is not on the parents at all. And the child is insane. Like insane. Your worst nightmare of a child. Absolutely insane. And the husband in all of this does not believe the wife and believes the child, which I think is rude. And the whole entire time, I wanted to climb into the book and just wring the dad's neck, just squeeze it so hard his eyeballs just out of his head, because he does not comfort the wife, he does not trust her, doesn't agree with her on anything. It's just so annoying. And she really took a step out to adopt this child when she didn't even want to in the first place. And it's just this whole thing. And insane. Insane. And I think I rated it a 5 out of 5 because it was so crazy. So the next book we're going to go over is The Sunrise on the Reaping. Amazing book. I loved it. It follows Haymitch's game, the quarter quell, or the second quarter quell, sorry. And it was just so sad. It was beautiful, sad. Like, we all knew how it was going to end if you've already read the other Hunger Games books, but I did not expect it to be this traumatic, this sad, this. And now I understand him more on. In the other books, like, I thought he was just like this rude drunk that, like, I don't know, like, I just was like, can this guy get it together? And really, he's just holding himself together as best as he can. And I needed to understand that. Like, 12-year-old me needed to understand that because that was just, oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking. So right now, actually, because of Sunrise on the Reaping, I am now going through all of the Hunger Games books, even the Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes, and I've started annotating and highlighting and everything. And because I'm going to do an in-depth video of everything on the Hunger Games, and it's kind of crazy because she's really sneaking in our own government into it, which is a little scary. And I'm glad she's doing it because we need a wake up call, but it's very scary how realistic this is. Like, yes, it's fiction, but it's so, so close to hitting home. Highly recommend. I did rate it, obviously, a 5 out of 5. I am very, very generous on my 5 out of 5. And when people have their Goodreads ratings as like their average Goodreads rating is like a 2, I'm like, obviously you don't like reading. Sorry, did I say that too loud? Like, just please read the books that you like. I give out, even if I really, really don't like a book, I'm giving it a 2. At the lowest. At the lowest, I will give it a 2. I don't think I've ever given a book in my life a 2. But a 3 is like the max lowest I will do. And it's just like the authors have a heart. They tried, they worked very hard. Like, y'all don't have to be so mean on Goodreads. That place is a war zone. I can't even look at it sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh. Typing in an essay MLA format over how much you hated the book, like, then just don't read it. DNF it. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't for you. That's why there's so many books in the world. Sorry, that was a random tangent. Another book I read was called The Crash by Frida McFadden. I actually don't have Sunrise on the Reaping with me or The Crash in hand because I lent it out to a couple of my friends because they wanted to read it. It was so, so good. So The Crash was crazy. It follows this girl named Tegan. She is single, pregnant, and she calls her baby Tuna. I'm not joking. Her baby's name in the story is Tuna. Okay? And obviously she's in a car crash. She's on her way to see her brother, gets in a blizzard, car crash. Then this couple helps her out. The mom is insane, the wife. And she wants to steal Tegan. Sorry, Lucy has some thoughts on this. So she wants to steal Tegan, yep, and wants to keep her baby because she can't have children either. There's like a trend going on in my reading over not having children. So What Lies Between Us, The Perfect Child, and The Crash all have that in them. So if you are sensitive to that topic, please, please, I would maybe steer clear of those three books just because it does touch on that topic a lot. Um, so the wife, she cannot have children. She wants to keep Tegan, keep the baby. The brother is like searching for her because she never got to where he lives. And it's this whole ordeal, but ends up that the husband takes her to the hospital because she also fractured her foot in the crash and everything. But anyway, the husband takes her to the hospital, ends up, I don't want to say it because, oh, yeah, I can't say it. You're going to have to read it, but it ends up crazy. And the people who you think are going to be on her side are not. So you need to check it out. And the people who you think are not on her side are. It's very, very confusing. Like in the middle of the book, I was like, we can stop here because I know who's on her side. Nope, didn't. Did not. Okay. Again, what did I rate it? You can all say it with me. 1, 2, 3. 5 out of 5 stars. Yay. Okay. Good job. Good job. Oh my gosh, this book. Okay, this is the last book I read for my March reading recap. It is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It's right here. This is the most beautiful book I have ever read, in my opinion. She is alive for 3 centuries so far, and she is just, no one can remember her name. No one can remember her. So, like her parents, her bestie, like no one remembers her. So, in order for her to be remembered, like she can't say her name. So, in order for her to be remembered, she leaves her mark through musicians, artists, everything, and she does it, which is amazing. And one person remembers her name, and he owns a bookshop. But so the reason she is living for so long is because she made a deal with who she calls Luke. And turns out the guy also has made a deal with him. And that's why he remembers. And she tries to save him from his destiny with Luke. And she ends up, they end up having the life that they deserve together for the amount of time that they deserve and what's allotted. And that was what was beautiful about it. And she is now, well, she also still has, she has feelings and love for Luke as well. It's just a different than what she had with the guy who owned the bookstore. And what they had was just beautiful. And again, this book made me really like romance. And again, I'm not a romance girly, but after this month, I might be. I don't know. 2 whole books, 2 whole romance books. Crazy. Okay, so that was the March reading recap. So now I'm going to go over my April TBR. Okay, so my April TBR is obviously the whole Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then also the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, all on the TBR for April. And then the Legendborn series, I've already started Legendborn a little bit. And then there's also the Bloodmarked and Oathbound that's behind me. And then also for my book club that I have to have this done in like literally 7 days, but whatever. If you're on my book club, don't hate me. It's called Sync With Me by Trin Savage. I've never heard of it, but if y'all have, leave a comment and tell me how much you love it. And that is the TBR for April. Is it a hefty TBR? Yes, ma'am. Are we going to get through it? Yes, ma'am. And I'm also listening to the audiobook for the Flock series. I don't even know what it's called, but the first book is called Flock. So I've started the audiobook for that as well. Super excited. Hopefully for April, my goal is to read 10 books. That's a big old goal, but I really want to try it out. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and it means so much that you stayed for this whole video. And if you have read any of these books, tell me, comment below, tell me what you thought about them, because my 5-star could be your 2-star. I don't know, but just let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope y'all have a great day.